Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Sliding in at the last second right there. It's like she was in the other room. Time for the show, Heidi. Well, I'll get there when I get there. Hey, we got Dear John letters coming up a little bit later in the program. I have our Dear John letter on our Facebook page, but I also now have that in our show notes as well. So if you're not on Facebook and you'd like to read it, now we have that available, and that's at johnandheidishow.com. Just click on the top there. It says Show Notes Blog, and you'll see it there as well. So we'll get to the Dear John letter here in just a little bit. Here's our quote for today from George Eliot. He says, "It's never too late to be what you might have been." I like that.
I do too.
So, never too late to be what you might have been. There are a lot of people, I think, that could probably make themselves a whole lot happier if they would just do what they want to do. So you think about how many people out there want to do something, but they never take the leap. Mm-hmm. Do it. Be what you want to be. It's never too late. Coming up, we've got a Dear John letter, a lot of other fun stuff to get to. It's all on the way.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner trying to do your own website, maybe it's time to get help. Or if you don't even have a website, it's definitely time for help. It's 2018. This internet thing is here to stay. At 49bydesign.com, we offer a simple plan to get you online for just $49 a month with no setup fee. This includes a website with the hosting and domain name included in the price. We have larger packages available, but this will get you online so people can find you in 2018. We're affordable by design at 49bydesign.com. That's 49bydesign.com.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Thursday, April the 19th, National North Dakota Day. It's also National Amaretto Day, National Garlic Day, National Hanging Out Day, National Oklahoma City Bombing Commemoration Day. Do you remember that? That was such a sad thing. I have a friend who was supposed to be in the building when that happened. He was at a different... in Oklahoma City, there are two federal buildings. He went to the wrong one that day accidentally, and then when he pulled up at the right one, it had already happened. He should have been in there. It was just a crazy... it's also National High Five Day and National Get to Know Your Customers Day. So all of that stuff going on. Some of it positive, some of it kind of sad, but get out there and celebrate however you choose to. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. That's 800-818-3967. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
John and Heidi.
Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs, but first, a Fox News poll shows that support for legalizing marijuana is at the highest it has ever been in the history of our country. Also, those who want to support it are also the highest they have ever been in the... I'm just kidding. I'm just being silly. That joke was just too easy not to do. Wasn't it? It was like a layup. Like you just handed it to me. But there we go. I've got a link to that poll, and we're putting links to almost all of our stuff. Almost everything we talk about, we're going to have a link to it on our new show notes, and that is at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is Your Brain on Drugs. A Florida woman who was arrested last month on drug possession charges blamed the cocaine found in her purse on the wind. Yeah. 26-year-old.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it just
Kenna
blew
Capozzi.
into my purse.
Yeah, she was one of two passengers in a car that was swerving in the roadway when it was stopped by Fort Pierce police. According to the police report, an officer approached the car, smelled an odor of marijuana. During the search of the car, they found cocaine and marijuana in separate bags inside the purse that she had on her lap. When questioned about it, she said, no, I don't know anything about that. It's a windy day. It must have flown in through the window into my purse.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's not how it works, Ms. Posey.
Oh,
she was booked
man.
into the county jail on a felony count of cocaine possession and a misdemeanor count on marijuana possession. So there you go. I have a link to this story in our show notes on the John and Heidi Show page at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by channelsurfertv.com. Carrie Underwood made a triumphant return to performing at the Academy of Country Music Awards on Sunday, and she had to have an operation on her face after an accident. 40 stitches that she needed in her face. That is awful. Amy Schumer has a new movie out. It's called I Feel Pretty, and people are criticizing the movie, saying that it is fat-phobic. So they're making fun of Amy Schumer's new movie, saying it's fat-phobic, which is completely different than what usually you see online, where they're making fun of Amy Schumer for being overweight. So I just think it's weird. It's like, hey, the internet makes fun of her for poking fun at herself. Now she's doing that in a movie, and they're saying, oh, that's not fair that you're doing that. Here's the thing. The internet's never happy. Have you ever noticed this?
Oh, yeah.
All
You
right.
can't make people happy anymore.
It doesn't seem to be possible. And one last thing here from Coachella. Beyonce reunited with Destiny Child for a little thing there at Coachella. This has been Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by channelsurfertv.com.
John and Heidi.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-719-5601. 800-719-5601. That's 800-719-5601.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day, courtesy of 49bydesign.com, an editor of Cosmo magazine. That's Cosmopolitan, Heidi.
Okay.
I think they call it Cosmo for short, right?
Sure.
They say dating apps are ruining people's sex lives because they no longer stay with people long enough to develop chemistry. So the funny thing is, this kind of ties into our Dear John letter that's coming up. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So again, this says dating apps are ruining people's sex lives because they don't stay with people long enough
Speaking
to
of
develop
chemistry, I just got to say, you're looking very good.
Am I really?
Yes, your hair is growing back, which is a huge plus.
That is a big plus.
And you got your goatee all trimmed up.
I did trim my
nice
goatee.
And
Well, the other
looking
day,
good.
my
You look good in
goatee-
that shirt.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
My goatee was getting so long that I was like, when I was eating stuff, I had food hanging off it. It's like, it's time to trim that, baby. It's not a good look, especially when the hair on my face was longer than the hair on my head. That was not good either. It was over a month ago now. I did the St. Baldrick's event and got
Where
my
you
head
donated-
shaved.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
and I shaved my
shaved
head,
your head for
help raise money
childhood
for a charity,
cancer.
which was really a nice thing, and it's really kind of cool. I had never done that before, so
Please don't do it again.
Well, I think I'm going to help in the future, but I'm going to help by donating to somebody else because I don't look good without hair. And the funny thing is, my brother Jason, all the time people talk about how much we look alike. He looks good without hair. I don't.
No, you do
He must
not.
have a much better looking
do
head
not.
than me. So, Jason, it looks sexy on you. On me, Uncle Festerish. Just going to say. A Florida man claims he lost 20 pounds by eating nothing but Chipotle. So, there you go. I've only had that a few times, and I think I know why he lost weight. A Pew Research survey found the percentage of adults who live at home with their parents is at a 75-year high. So, 75-year high. More adult children living at home with mom and dad than we have had in 75 years. A new survey found Chick-fil-A has now surpassed McDonald's as the most popular fast food choice with teenagers.
Oh.
So teenagers are big fans of Chick-fil-A, more so than Mickey D's. NYPD police officer busted on disability fraud after he was caught working
man.
as a bouncer at a strip club. He was on disability and he couldn't go to work. But he's like, I can do this. I can hang out here. So that's not good. This is a sad story here. I don't know about sad story. Just sad to me that this is even in the news or that it's even happened. A Georgia jury acquitted a woman of illegally making a sex tape with the Waffle House chairman, Joe Rogers Jr. I think it's sad to see all of that stuff in the news. I mean, I understand. There
Who cares?
people that make mistakes.
I mean,
but
do what you got to do. Who cares?
yeah. And then this is, again, just a weird story. A Connecticut man was arrested for robbing a bank, and he says the reason he robbed the bank is the bizarre thing. He did it to impress Taylor Swift.
Yeah, well, that's what would do it.
Why would you rob a bank to impress Taylor Swift? And what made him think that would impress Taylor Swift? Does she have
Probably
a new
more impressive if he wasn't caught, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Does she have a new song I haven't heard yet that's talking about that? I mean, I don't know. There's just something about that story that makes me kind of smile. And then one last story here, and it also happens to be a bank robbery story, Heidi.
Okay.
A male bank robber in Brazil was toting a purse and wearing a wig and sporting a pretty blue dress. He got away with a few $100, by the way. So
Wow.
he went in there dressed like a woman and apparently pulled it off pretty well because they didn't realize
Put a couple
it was him.
$100.
I know.
Maybe you should have brought a bigger handbag.
That's all I can fit in this handbag. I gotta go. I'll be back on Friday. I don't think that's how it went down. I don't know. I've got a link to all these fun stories on the show notes blog at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Do you have ideas for t-shirt designs, but you don't have a clue how to print them? Or maybe you'd like to have t-shirts and coffee mugs available to buy online with your business logo printed on them. There's a website that makes it easy. We set ours up in about 10 minutes. There's no sign-up fee, no minimum orders, no monthly fees. It's just a really easy way to put some cool items online for sale, and you get paid every time somebody buys them. You don't have to print or ship anything. Just sign up, upload your designs, and then let people know where they can get your cool stuff. More details available at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
And it's time right now for
Dear John Letters.
Dear John. Dear John.
All right, here's the Dear John letter for today. We're going to tell you how to submit your own Dear John letter as well. And if you've been waiting, because, before we always said you got to submit it through Facebook. If you have a Dear John letter, you don't even need to be on Facebook no more, Heidi.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to tell you how you can submit your Dear John letter here in just a bit. But first, here's one from Facebook. Dear John, I'm 40 and single. I've tried dating websites and never had much luck. So last Christmas, I decided to change my profile. I typed up what I think women want and hyped up my personal info. Then I used a photo that is 10 years old. Now, I have several women that are talking with me online, which has been fun. But I have one that wants to meet up in person, and I'm afraid to meet her. The photo is a photo of me, but it was when I was 30. The stuff I typed is not really me, but with this lady, I have connected pretty well. I've been my true self to her, and we've made a connection. Do I tell her the truth before we meet, or do I close this account and move on? Signed, Dull Dating Dude. So, Dull Dating Dude, here's the thing. Be honest with her. But here's the thing you need to understand. You're not the first person to exaggerate on a dating profile. There are some people who use photos of other people.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a guy that went on a dating site and then he went on a date and he's like, you don't look anything like your photo. So because it wasn't
right.
It was the same person he had been talking to, but she used a fake picture. It wasn't even her.
Right.
So, I don't think she's going to be shocked that
she probably won't look anything like her photo either. So
well, and that's the
you
thing.
guys will probably be fine.
And I don't think she'll be shocked. Here's the thing that I like. You said that you've been your true self to her in the chats that you've had. So if that's the person she wants to meet, that's you. I mean, she wants to meet you. I don't know what kind of, when you're saying on here, you hyped up, what does it say here? I typed up what I think women want, and I hyped up my personal info. So if you're saying you're a multi-billionaire...
Right, that'll be a letdown for sure, because she thinks
so,
no matter how boring you are, if she thinks you're a billionaire, she's not going to care.
But, if the stuff that you said on her is a little stretch of the truth, that's one thing. But if you're flat out lying, that's a whole different thing. And I wouldn't encourage you to do that, because at some point, if you do want to actually make a connection with somebody, you got to be truthful. So can you stretch the truth a little? Yeah, I suppose you could probably do that. It sounds like you already did. But, make sure that there's some truth in there somewhere. I can tell you this. I'm really glad that I've never had to do the whole dating thing. My wife, Heidi, and I, this gorgeous woman I'm here with right now, we've been married for 18 years. So I think there might have been dating sites before that. I don't know. Were there dating sites before we got married?
I think they were kind of just...
Was that kind of a thing?
Coming around.
So I'd never done one of those before, but I can't even imagine. I don't even I remember back when I had to put together a resume. I'm like, I didn't like doing that. So I can't imagine putting together a resume for my dating life. Do you put references on there when you're doing it? Don't check with this one. She's really not. She doesn't like me at all. I'm not sure what you do. I've never done one, but again, I can tell you it's not uncommon. I know there's a lot of people who have had experiences where somebody has not been too truthful. So the good news is, if you guys have made a nice connection, I would say be sure to talk to her about those things. But I do think if there's something major on there that you lied about, I think you need to let her know. And I would even be honest with her and just say, I had been on here forever and nobody ever even connected with me. So I was just being silly at Christmas time and I put a bunch of silly stuff on there and all of a sudden people started connecting. But I just want you to know before we meet, some of that's not me. That's just my sense of humor. So hopefully she'll like the sense of humor and still want to get together with you. Do you think you should tell her before they meet? Or
Oh, yeah. Well,
meet her first?
Meet her. And if she doesn't like you for who you are 10 years older, then it's not going to work anyway. And like I said, she's probably not even going to look anything like her picture either. So you might meet her and be like, whoa, not dating that gargoyle.
Would you just...
It might be a moot point once you get together.
In this photo, you look exactly like a young Elizabeth Taylor. I mean, it's like a screenshot right out of this movie. If you have a Dear John letter you'd like to submit for next week, we'd love to answer yours. You can do that at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And you can now do it right through our show notes blog. And you can read this letter without Facebook at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
In a world that constantly tells you you're not good enough,
12 easy ways to lose weight now.
it's easy to start believing that. I'm Amanda Johnson. I have a new perspective on the self-help genre. My book, Becoming Enough, A Heroine's Journey to the Already Perfect Self, will guide you to find your own happiness. Learn to block out the distractions of what the world thinks and learn to be happy with who you truly are. Becoming Enough. Available now on Amazon or learn more at amandajohnson.tv.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A kiss stimulates 29 muscles and chemicals that cause relaxation. Women seem to like light and frequent kisses, while men seem to like more strenuous kisses. So do you like light and frequent kisses?
Yes.
So how light and how frequent? I'm going to make some notes. She's my wife. I need to know this stuff. I need to make some notes over here. So that's kind of interesting, though, that 29 muscles. A kiss stimulates 29 muscles and chemicals that cause relaxation. So kissing should cause relaxation, Heidi.
I would agree with that.
I'm going to have to pay attention next time. You have to kiss me when I'm not planning. I can't do it right now because then I'd be wondering. Then you have to let me know if I seem relaxed afterwards. One last thing here. Another fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Our eyes are always the same size from birth, but our nose and our ears never stop growing.
I know. How disappointing for me.
Why?
They're my two worst features.
I think they're fantastic. I love your nose and I love your ears. As a matter of fact, I'm going to come give them a light kiss right now. Frequently. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. A couple of fun facts courtesy of LearnWithoutLoans.com.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner trying to do your own website, maybe it's time to get help. Or if you don't even have a website, it's definitely time for help. It's 2018. This internet thing is here to stay. At 49bydesign.com, we offer a simple plan to get you online for just $49 a month with no setup fee. This includes a website with the hosting and domain name included in the price. We have larger packages available, but this will get you online so people can find you in 2018. We're affordable by design at 49bydesign.com. That's 49bydesign.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the grandiloquent word, and this is a weird-looking thing on our page here. They've got, on the Grandiloquent Word Facebook page, they always have illustrations of stuff.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, it is weird. It's a skull.
Gliamus, Gliamous, and it's not a skull. Gliamus. What do you think a gliamus means, Heidi?
I don't know, happy.
No. It is an adjective, slimy, full of phlegm. So this is what you're seeing here, Heidi. That's a nostril, and that's a nostril. It's like looking.
Oh, it's looking upwards.
Looking up a nose. This is teeth.
It looks like the upper
It does look like a skull.
of like a cartoon character.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird looking thing. So, again,
I see it now.
now you see it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It is a bizarre picture. So I wonder where they get these. Do you think they draw these photos? They must. I don't know where else you'd get them. I'll have to reach out. We should talk to the Grandiloquent Word people sometime. I think that would be a very interesting interview. Because I'll bet they use a lot of big words.
I would hope so.
We wouldn't probably understand most of what they say. But this has been your grandiloquent word of the day. Again, it's gliamus.
John and Heidi.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-719-5601. 800-719-5601. That's 800-719-5601.
John and Heidi.
Now, some weird news on a Thursday. Fans of the galaxy far, far away will now have a chance to experience life in space firsthand, thanks to the first ever luxury space hotel for a mere $9.5 million.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
Is that per person or is that for a couple?
I don't
and
know.
Is that all inclusive?
I don't know. Space 2.0 Summit in San Jose, the company Orion Span debuted the Aurora Space Station, dubbed the first luxury hotel in space. It holds 6 people at a time, including 2 crew members, takes guests on a 12-day long trip. So that's not one night, $9.5 million. You know, when you break it down for 12 nights, that's peanuts. That's less than $1 million a night, Heidi.
That better include the bar tab.
It better. Station will travel 200 miles into space, circling the Earth every 90 minutes. That means 16 sunrises and sunsets every day. The company is now taking fully refundable deposits of $80,000 per person for trips beginning in 2022. Kind of sounds like a long ways. A lot of planning.
Zero interest
The payment
in something like that.
Covers an expedited 3-month training period, partially online and partially at the company's training facility in Houston to get you ready for life in space. Activities and amenities include views of the northern and southern aurora, research experiments like growing food in orbit, a virtual reality experience, and access to high-speed Wi-Fi.
Why on earth would anybody want to do this?
That's why off Earth. They're not going to be on Earth. I've got a link to that story in our show notes.
Can you imagine the Looney Tunes you'd be traveling with if you decided to go on this trip?
I bet it would be a lot of really rich people because $9.5 million to go. And I don't think you have to be Looney Tunes to go. You just have to be rich.
You would have to be nuts and rich.
It would be awesome to do it. I just couldn't afford to go.
It would not. Anything that I have to go through training for before going on vacation, I am not interested.
I'm going. Sign me up, somebody. Hey, maybe they'll send me there just to come talk about it on the radio.
Yeah, maybe go ahead and
the
trade
John
that
and Heidi
out.
Show from space.
I'll stay here.
I've got a link to this in our show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Now, your moment of duh. 55-year-old John Bradley Kane was arrested for insurance fraud when detectives said he lied about a Hooters sign falling on his foot. This happened back in November. He retained an attorney to file an insurance claim against Hooters insurer Liberty Mutual after he claimed he was struck in the foot by an O that fell off the Hooters sign. It had blown off during Hurricane Irma. According to the manager, Kane and some friends entered the store with the fallen sign and asked for some food and drinks in exchange for the stolen O. They're referring to it as stolen. Employees didn't cave for their demands. They left the store with the sign. The manager showed detectives surveillance video that showed the sign fall onto the sidewalk without hitting anybody. The O remained in the same spot until a man, identified as Kane, picked it up and moved it to the rear door of the restaurant. It was determined that he lied about the incident. Detectives arrested him for insurance fraud for less than $20,000. So it's not like major insurance fraud. Apparently that O wasn't as expensive as he was thinking. Or maybe it was his foot that got hurt that wasn't. I don't know what it was. Either way, bad idea. That's why it's today's moment of duh.
John and Heidi.
In a world that constantly tells you you're not good enough,
12 easy ways to lose weight now.
it's easy to start believing that. I'm Amanda Johnson. I have a new perspective on the self-help genre. My book, Becoming Enough, A Heroine's Journey to the Already Perfect Self, will guide you to find your own happiness. Learn to block out the distractions of what the world thinks and learn to be happy with who you truly are. Becoming Enough, available now on Amazon, or learn more at amandajohnson.tv.
John and Heidi.
Time now for everybody's favorite segment, fake news or Florida? Should we ask if we should keep this or if we should kill this?
I like this one.
I know you do. I got a feeling there's people who don't, though, because it's not necessarily flattering for the great state of Florida. I don't make these up, by the way. This is something that is from the internet, and I just thought it was quite silly. So I read one of these, and Heidi has to tell me if it's fake news or if it's something that really happened in the state of Florida. Today's fake news or Florida. You ready, Heidi?
I am ready.
A high school principal arrested for assaulting the school mascot at a football game. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida.
Wrong. That one was fake news. So, unless a principal in the great state of Florida wants to assault a mascot to make Heidi right, it's fake news. So, there you go. This has been fake news or Florida. We've got good news on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is pretty darn good news. It's courtesy of Odiva. It is a monthly subscription service specifically for the ladies. All of the details at radiosavings.com. A man rushed to the hospital with excruciating headache after participating in a chili pepper eating contest, but he might have actually triggered a medical discovery. How cool is this? So the story starts out with a bunch of people doing something silly.
Okay.
You're going to eat hot peppers.
Sure.
See who can eat the most. That's not a good idea. Doctors assessed this man and wondered what could have caused this massive pain in his head. After excluding life-threatening bleed and a tear of his arteries in his neck, they were left with a more bizarre explanation: the chili peppers. The man had taken part in, I think it's supposed to what that say, a chili pepper eating contest earlier that day. He had eaten a Carolina Reaper, one of the hottest varieties of peppers on earth. After scanning his head, doctors found several of his brain's arteries had narrowed. They diagnosed him with reversible cerebral vasoconstriction syndrome. It's a rare side effect associated with some medications. Fortunately, the patient improved. A second scan 5 weeks after showed his brain's arteries were back to normal. However, the condition isn't always harmless. It has been linked to a stroke for some. This man's symptoms included a severe thunderclap headache. It says dry heaves also were a part of it, and neck pain. Thunderclap headache can also occur by itself. So should people avoid spicy foods? At this point, doctors are not saying that you should steer clear of spicy foods. They don't even know for sure that these things are connected, but they think that they are. And the reason that they think that they are is they look back to 2012, another bizarre thing that happened in Turkey. Doctors there reported a patient had suffered a heart attack after taking an excessive number of cayenne pepper pills for slimming. And another bizarre case that involved peppers at a different time as well. I've got a link to all of this stuff. I'm speeding against the clock, Heidi. It's what happens when I have way too much stuff to say and not enough time to say it. But I'm telling you, maybe don't do pepper eating contests.
I'm not really in danger. I'm not a fan of the hot peppers. I like green peppers, but that's about it.
But in this particular case, the cool thing is there may be a medical discovery that came from this that could help a whole lot of people.
Right.
So I think that's kind of cool. And it all started because a guy was eating too many peppers. So
there you go.
I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon.
Me either.
I do have a link to the entire story in our show notes blog at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
Time now for a bonus break on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us, BobTiede. He's actually a South Dakota native, but he's living elsewhere now. He's an author of an amazing book that I had a chance to read a while back, and we've had him on the program, but the reason we're talking today, he's going to be in Sioux Falls real soon. Bob, how are you, sir?
I am great, John. How about you?
I'm fantastic. Now, you're going to be coming to Sioux Falls to do an event in May. Let's talk a little bit about the event. First of all, what is the name of the event?
Well, it's going to be a business leader seminar put on by Crew Sioux Falls.
Nice.
And it's on Tuesday, May 8th. It'll go from 11:30 to 1. And the cost is $25 a person. But besides lunch, everybody coming is going to get my 2 books.
Oh, nice.
Complimentary. Great Leaders Ask Questions, the Fortune 100 list. And the second book, 339 Questions Jesus Asked.
That's awesome. Now, we talked on the program about the first book, but I don't think we talked about the second book. Is that a new book, Bob?
It is. But as I share with people, John, you probably already read it. And people say, well, I don't think so. And I say, well, if you've read the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you've read this book.
Oh, very nice.
Because what I did is I went through the 4 Gospels and I simply pulled out all of the questions that Jesus asked.
Very nice.
So that's what that book is. And as I say, I didn't author the second book. I compiled it. It was written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Very nice. And they're bestsellers. You know that, right?
Yeah, they are. They are.
So now the event that's going to be happening here, again, it's coming up on May 8th. That's a Tuesday. And if you'd like to get tickets, we're going to tell you how to get those tickets. But what kind of things are you going to be talking about during your portion of the event, Bob?
Well, I'm going to be talking about, as you would guess, leading with questions. John, I'll ask you a question. If you were in a rowboat with your entire team and there were oars for everyone and you wanted to get across the lake, how many of them would you like to have oar with you?
I would like to have everybody oar with me.
Yeah, of course. And I say, well, if that's true, why would you then, as a leader, want to row the boat, meaning your organization, into the future with your whole team, but you're the only one that has oars in the water? Why would you not want to ask them, what do you think is going to be the best way for us to get across the lake quickly? In other words, a great leader asks questions so that he can harness or she can harness the brain power of everyone at the table. And so we're going to be talking about that. John, I'm not going to give this next thing away, but I'm going to ask if there's a leader in the room at that luncheon that would like to learn to lead with questions in 30 seconds.
Nice.
And, of course, there'll be a bunch of hands go up. I'll pull one up, and we will help that person learn to lead. Of course, the whole audience then will learn to lead in 30 seconds. And I go that route because sometimes I get the feeling that people would like to learn to lead with questions, but they imagine that the task will be like, I've got to go get a master's in questionology.
Yeah.
And while it'd be a great idea, I'm just never going to be able to do that.
Well, I think questions are such a powerful thing because the answers that they give you usually come from them, but it solves the problem. Like, I just seriously, last night, I on social media, I was kind of being a little bit of a wise guy, but there was a lady in an entrepreneurs group that was saying, I want to treat my team and I want to, do some things because they've done such a great job. What would be a good idea to treat the team? And everybody had a bunch of great ideas. She was asking a group of other business people. They all had great ideas. And I was being a little bit of a smart aleck. And I said, petting zoo, and I was just being silly. And she said, oh, that's a different idea. And then after she responded, I replied again. I said, I think what you should do is ask your team. Because what one person might think is amazing, another person might think is awful. So I think it would be a good idea to say, you guys have done an awesome job. What do you want to do? Wouldn't that make more sense?
John, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. And sometimes, well, here's the amazing thing about great questions. They often are so simple. Your suggested question there is brilliant, but they're so simple. Just ask the team.
Yeah.
What would you enjoy doing? What would be a reward for you all for the great job you did?
Absolutely. Well, questions are very, very powerful, and I absolutely love the book. You had sent me a copy of your book a year and a half, 2 years ago when we first spoke. The book, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is called Great Leaders Ask Questions. It's available right now. You can get that. And if you want a free copy, you just come be a part of this business leadership event coming up in May, and you'll get a copy of that. And then I'm looking forward to seeing this other one, 339 Questions Jesus Asked. I'm excited to see that, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I also look forward to meeting you in person, Bob. I think that'll be fun.
John, I am so looking forward to meeting you in person.
Well, I hope I don't let you down too much, but it's going to be fun either way.
You won't. You won't.
Well,
hey, John, let's tell them where it's going to be at and how they can get a ticket.
That's a great idea. I was going to just ask you that. If I'd like to get a ticket, where do I go to find that? Is it online somewhere?
Well, the director of Cruise Sioux Falls is David Larson, and you get a ticket by RSVPing to David. His email is david.larson, Larson, at Crew, but Crew is spelled CRU.org. So david.larson at CRU.org.
And I'm going to make it really easy. I'll throw a link to that on our social media with the details of when it is, where it is, and how you get the ticket. I'll do that at facebook.com/sunnyradio. Bob, thank you again for taking the time to visit. It's always fun to talk, and I really do look forward to meeting you in person next month.
John, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for letting people in Sioux Falls know about this great event.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a business leader seminar, and it's coming up on May the 8th. It's in Sioux Falls. All of the details at facebook.com/sunnyradio. All right, I'm going to say...
You have a good one.
Yes, you do the same.